Here we go. Another episode of Donnie's Kick-Ass Fridays. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. I'm really glad you're sticking around and supporting the show and tuning in and listening. Hey, got something really cool I wanted to run by and let you know what's going on. So I'm starting a group that will start taking a deep dive into each one of these episodes. So we'll collectively come together and talk about the shows, talk about the guests. I'll be bringing back some of the guests to do some Q&A sessions and really take a further dive into their story, their journey, the episode, talk about, maybe some of the things you wish I would have asked on the episodes, do some Q&A sessions and the like. As a friend put it to me, it's really like a book club, but for the podcast.
Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by my friends over
a couple times a week, we'll go in, we'll break down the favorite shows of the week,
that are all
and have cool discussions around everything that we've heard, we've learned, and want to know about their journey. Some of these guests will come in and they'll teach part of what makes them awesome at what they do. And then, as always, I'll be providing regular value and content in this group. It's really cool because this only is going to cost $5 a month to join this group. And you'll be able to come in, interact with everybody else in there. So I'll put a link right in the show notes for this, that you can jump in, come have a conversation with us, and we will really deep dive into each one of these episodes and help us all rise up together. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's going to be a great show. I love the phrase, aim for the moon, because my land and stars, right? Either way, well, I'm going to teach you that your dreams are big, but are they really big enough? Hey guys, this week on this episode, we're going to talk really specifically about playing offense. Last episode, we were really focused on, how you're playing defense in life. How'd you get that way? How'd you actually go and tackle life by playing defense versus staying offensive or very, very future focused? So sit back, enjoy the ride. It's going to be a fun one, and we'll talk a lot about what's it look like to play offense in life. Having the show wasn't something I started out to do, but the day I found out somebody wanted to really sponsor the show was a really, really cool experience. So guys, I want you to take some time to go check out Point Blank Safety Services and their new nonprofit, Blue Family Fund. These guys are doing some really, really cool things. And Stacy McGovern, who's the CEO over there, has been a dear friend, and she was a guest on the show. But these guys are literally taking, the off-duty officers and putting them out in security guard role. And here's what's cool about it is, as they're protecting our lives, they don't make a whole lot of money in that regard. No first responders are paid for the value they provide for our safety and our health and taking care of us. So these guys, Stacy and her team over at Point Blank Safety Services have really found a cool way to give back to these officers by helping them provide an additional income so they can continue to support and protect us. So do me a favor, guys. Seriously, go check out pointblanksafety.com and then go look at their nonprofit, which is Blue Family Fund. Now, this nonprofit was created because of the success of Point Blank Safety Services. They wanted to give back to the families of fallen officers and be able to give scholarships away to the families of current, police officers. So do me a favor. It would mean the world to me if you would go out and help support this show by supporting Point Blank Safety Services and their nonprofit Blue Family Fund. Just tell them Donnie has sent you. You heard it on Donnie Success Champions, and Stacy will take a tremendous and amazing care of you. Thanks, guys. Just kind of to recap on last week's episode where we talked about defense, and we talked very much that's how we were raised, and that's been kind of ingrained in it, and that our habits kind of influence how we continue to play defense in life. And those three things that we talked about, and very quickly, those were, number one is, you're playing the game of keeping up with the Joneses. Number two, you're living paycheck to paycheck. And number three is you're doing that impulse spending all the way through. We talked about, then after that, how to stay future focused. And this entire episode is going to be spent on how do you stay future focused? How do you play offense? How do you actually go after it? Really try and generate the life you want versus sitting back and playing for keeps. Offense really is about completely changing your mindset about how you approach life. It's changing from that mindset of how do I keep it to how do I create it. And for some people, this is a huge leap because their entire life has been spent in that good enough or I'm okay mentality. Right? It's been spent in, they haven't thought about it. They've just been living that life that is just okay and this is what I get. But I know most of my listeners are not people that are living that lifestyle or don't want to maintain that lifestyle. They're like, look, we want to get after it. Right? You're at that stage in life, and I love this phrase, and I continue to get make fun of for saying it, but you're at this point in life where you're ready to look at the world and say, hold my beer and watch this shit, right? And that's where I want you to be. That's kind of the mentality state that I want you to be in, is looking at life and saying, you're not going to hold me back. You can't beat me. I'm going to win, and this is how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to stay future focused, kick a little ass, and just explode onto the scene. Okay, so one of the things I'm learning as I continue to dive into this coaching business is really coaching my badasses to play offense. And changing the thought process of playing to win instead of playing not to lose, right? And I think a lot of people, especially the people that kind of have that it factor and really are ready to go for it, they struggle with that mindset change, right? They struggle with that thought process of how do I give it my all and go for it, but wait, how do I do it so I don't lose everything? And I'll tell you, the people that actually make the leap are the ones that don't give a shit about losing everything, right? It's that shift from, I'm going to take big risk and go crazy as hell and do things that people have never done before versus being the person of, you know what, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to keep my job, right? I'm going to do, one step and I'm running towards second, but I'm going to leave one foot on first base. It's those big mindset changes that we're going to focus on and help you make that big leap of playing offense. So, offense is just not a natural tactic for many people. Primarily, a lot of you weren't brought up in a household where you were taught things like entrepreneurism. I mean, Christ, I wasn't. I'm a first, tier entrepreneur in my life. I mean, there's not a single one. I mean, a couple of my family members have dabbled in it, but nobody's ever jumped full in. So I don't have any direct influences around me to teach me how to be an entrepreneur. I've had to go seek out those mentors. I've had to go seek out those people that can help and guide and coach me, which means I've had to surround myself with other badasses. I'm going to talk about that more coming up, but I've had to find these other people that could push me and drive me to be greater, be more often, and be more a badass. And I think a lot of people, because they play defense so long in life, they've gotten so used to their current lifestyle. And they don't know how to expand it out or explode it. So think about this. As a public speaker, you always know that the audience will be the size of the room that you're in, right? And a lot of people, they don't take that into account. So let's say you want to speak to a room of 100 people. They get focused on how do I find a room that'll just fit 100 people versus going to find a room that'll fit 200, 300, 400 and seeing that they can fill the whole damn thing. They limit themselves already out the gate because they're playing for keeps. They're not playing to win, right? Or better yet, they don't believe they could go fill the biggest theater in town with enough people, so they go and try and find the smallest little conference room they can get into to do presentations, this, that, and the other, because they already have this defensive mindset of, well, I'm not sure I can get enough people to fill that, so let's just play it safe. Screw all that. Offense is how big can I go with this shit? How crazy can I get? And how can I really put myself under the fire? And, I love doing this to my clients, and it drives them nuts sometimes. But they'll say things like, I want want to start this, or I want to do X. I'm like, good. Do you really want to start it? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, good. You got 30 days. Or like I just did with one of my clients the other day. He wants to do this big, huge speaking engagement and have all these people there, this, that, and the other. I'm like, good. How bad do you want it? He goes, I really want it. I'm like, good. Have it done by January 31st. And you just watch this whole composure change really quick because he had the oh shit moment, and then he looked at me right back and goes, all right, let's do it. And he is. He's going full after it. Another one of my clients that I was coaching this morning, she's getting ready to launch her Badass Women's Club. And I said, okay, when are we launching? And she goes, well, I'm hoping sometime. Yeah, no, there's no hope. When are we launching? And she goes, all right, beginning of the year. I'm like, okay, let's get a little bit further. I said, how about we launch by February 31st? And then she looked at me, she goes, Donnie, there's no February 31st. I'm like, well, shit. All right, so February 28th, let's launch. And then she negotiated with me, and I let her do it. She negotiated that she's going to launch it by March 31st. So she's got between now and March 31st, and that just gives that impending, offensive strategy. Because, dude, once you put a hard deadline in there like that, it forces you to play offense, right? And so if you're trying to, maybe it is get a public speaking gig going together, or you're trying to put yourself out there a little bit, put that deadline on there. You'll be amazed that once you put that deadline on there, how much it lights a fire under your ass to get you actively moving and moving forward. So how else can we play offense out there when the entire life we've lived has been this defensive mindset? There's a couple of things. I'm going to give you 3 real strategies to focus on to play offense. So get out a pen and paper, if you're driving, don't do this, but get out a pen and paper, write this shit down, because I promise you, if you start doing these things, it'll help you play offense. And the first one, and you're going to hear me harp about all 3 of these things all through my podcast, because this is one of my favorite things to talk about. And the first one, though, is to get a damn routine. Right, is to get flipping regimented. A routine you can do every day that's non-negotiable, right, is what are those things that you can do regularly and without any thoughts of not completing it for the day. One of my clients looked at me the other day and goes, Donnie, I like giving people nicknames. And one of the things that I tell my wife all the time that I call you is discipline Donnie, because, dude, every day you're on social media, you're on Medium, you're on, all these platforms, and it's consistent and crazy as hell. He goes, how did you get to that level? And I said I had no choice. I'm not in this game to play bottom tier, bottom rung, and not break loose and go big as shit in this whole thing. I'm in this game to freaking explode and be on the stage with some of the biggest badasses in the world. So I'm going to get after it. And getting after it for me is doing all those things. So it's getting that hard routine. What's the shit you do every flipping day with no question, no doubt you're going to do it. And find that routine that you can just grind it out. If it's social media, do social media. If it's sales, go do sales. If it's, whatever. If it's networking, go do networking. Whatever it is, get that regimented routine that you cannot not stop doing, right? Build it, straighten it. Now, it may change as you go along, but as you get regimented, stay regimented and go after it. And then the second one is, and this is huge, is to change your circle. And what I'm telling you is, if you look around with the people you're hanging out with, the people that you're spending your most time with, I'm betting they're not people that are challenging you in life. I bet they're not people that are pushing you in life. And I bet they're not people that are helping you reach into your inner badass and just flip and explode. I'm betting they're people that are a lot like you. They sound like you, they dress like you, they talk like you, they make the same money as you, they drive the same type of cars with you, they live in the same areas as you, right? If you want to play offense, you have to up your game, right? You have got to go find people that are just kicking ass in life and that are trying to go as big and loud as you are. I've got a mastermind group of a couple of guys that there's times I'm nervous about going to this group. And the reason being is these dudes are legit badasses. I mean, these guys are kicking some really serious ass. And dude, when I walk into this room, I'm already thinking, is what I done this week enough to walk into these room of badasses that I know are just exploding on a regular basis. Have I done enough to warrant sitting in this room with these guys? That's how you know you're getting into a circle of people that are going to challenge and pushing you like nobody's business. If you're in conversations and you're not getting involved in conversations of how are you investing your money, how are you growing your business, what are you buying next, what are you dealing with, and you're not getting around people that are not only allowing you to give them stoic, solid advice, but are calling you on your bullshit, are calling you on your own holes. If they're not slapping you with a 2x4 between your head because they know you're not up in the game to the level you need to be up to, then you're doing it absolutely wrong. And man, I'm telling you, when I walk in with these guys, I really have that gut check moment of, do I have enough of my shit together? And dude, it's very telling because they push me. And I'll tell you, a lot of you guys are going to struggle with playing offense because you're so worried about what happens if you walk away from those current friends. If you walk away from that current circle of people because your life has absolutely revolved around them and you've defined who you are because of them. Change your circle and watch how much it changes your life. And then number 3 is my absolute favorite. And it's the one thing that completely transformed and changed my life, the offensive side, and that's get journaling. Is literally, and I'm 100% serious, you cannot play offense. You cannot see the level of success. You cannot get to where you want to go in life if you are not flipping journaling. If you are not every day writing down the damn thoughts that are going through your flipping head, then they are festering, they are growing, and they are feeding that defensive lifestyle. You have got to get those thoughts out of your head. I have my ebook. Go get it. Download it on my website. But I'm telling you, every day you're going through life, shit is hitting you 100 miles an hour. And if you don't have a way to remove those thoughts to your head or to put some better thought processes on them, then they are going to fester into this shit that you don't know how to deal with. And think about it. When you go back to number 2, my circle and influence, and I have that mastermind group, man, my journaling helps me prepare for that conversation because I know the shit that I'm screwing up and I know the shit that's holding me back and it's challenging me. So when I walk into that room, I can say, guys, I'm kicking ass in this life. I'm doing this. Here's what I need help with. But a lot of times people don't know what they need help with, so they're scared to death to ask for help. They don't want to reach out because, reaching out is weakness. That's a defensive mindset, guys. Your badasses in the world have coaches, mentors. They have masterminds. They have people they surround themselves that they're constantly feeding and getting advice from. And, dude, if you're not getting challenged by life, it's because you're not journaling. It's because you're not starting your day off looking at it going, how do I make this day just flipping great? What is holding me back? And how do I change that story I'm telling myself? One of the greatest questions I asked in my journal once upon a time is, how do I play offense today? And I started adding that into a lot of my journal entries because now it forced me to change how I looked at my entire day to play an offensive strategy versus doing what I was doing, which was playing for the Keith, that defensive strategy. And what I found is setting my day up to play offense allowed me to really start charging forward. And when you play offense, you have to stay future focused. And when you do that, you're playing for the future game. I told everybody when I started this coaching business, I'm not playing for year 1. I'm playing for year 2, year 3, year 4. And just watch it, dude, because it's going to blow up and I'm going to go big as hell, but it's because I'm playing offense. I have already looked at the world and said, hold my beer and watch this shit because things are going to get crazy. And, that's a real quick segment. It's why I'm so excited about next week's episode because we're going to talk about how do you really go big and loud and really explode onto the scene and let everybody know that you're here. You got to start journaling, guys. You've got to start getting those thoughts out of your head and start writing down everything that's holding you back. And even if you just start with writing out a list of things, like I got one of my clients, he loves the way that I taught him how to journal. But for him, he took it one step further, and now he does audio recordings, right? So he's driving down the road, a thought hits him, he starts recording out his thoughts, and then he goes back and he replays those thoughts out. And the interesting thing for him that he said is when he replays those thoughts out, he hears shit that he didn't realize he was saying in the first place. And it really showed him how much defense he was actually playing in life, even with the thoughts as he got them out of his head. And he's like, dude, it was so interesting because I'd be driving down the road listening to what I was saying, and I'm like, who the hell is that guy? I'm not that guy, but allowed him to change the inner dialogue and the inner story he was telling himself and allowed him to strive for it and push forward and go for it. So as you look at the three major things, right, that you have to really play offense, number one is to get a damn routine. Right? Get regimented as hell so that you don't go through your day going, okay, what the hell do I do next? Second one, change your circles. Go find the badasses that are kicking ass in life that want to run like hell and just get after it and go get involved with them. Start a flipping mastermind. And dude, I don't care if you can only find one other badass that's trying to go as hard as you are. Go start a 2-person mastermind and then go find and grab more people. But if you're not masterminding out and finding coaches and mentors along the way that are pushing you, then you're just playing the game wrong. Number 3 is to absolutely get journaling. Look, if you're struggling with the whole journaling concept like I did because that's something a little kid does, or you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to write, go get my damn book, right? It's a very simple step. It's less than 30 pages, and for some of you, there's a lot of damn pictures in there, so you can read it just fine, okay? And I know people have asked me to do an audio version of it. I'm working on that as well, so we'll try and get that out there. Get in there and just start starting. I mean, it's serious. Start starting, because most of your defensive strategies are starting at stop. How do I keep something from happening? Start starting. That means start journaling. Start getting better friends. Start getting better routines. Get moving. Get momentum. Get that whole damn train running and moving and grooving so that you can push everything flipping forward. Quit sitting on your ass. Quit daydreaming about where you want to go and take some flipping action and get moving. Out you go flipping big and loud. And I really, guys, this wasn't a concept I thought about until I started my coaching practice. But I was sitting with one of my clients, and he was debating on what he was doing. And I don't know where the thought came from, but it popped in my head. I'm like, look, how do you go big and loud right now? And dude, his response was amazing. I'll share that with you on the next episode. We're going to really stay focused there. Offense, man. You got to play offense. The best offense beats the best defense every flipping time, right? Because the guys playing defense, they have to move at the speed of the offensive guys, right? They have to be a responsive unit to everything the offense does. And if you're playing offense in life, then life has to play defense to you, because you're getting after it so hard. You're getting after it so fast that life has to keep up with you. And I want you to think about, how do I be the person that's carving the damn trail, carving the path so everybody else has to keep up with me, and just go screaming after it and explode onto the scene, light that damn bonfire, your inner flame, and just go big as hell. Here's one more thing I want you to think about from this whole offensive perspective. Gary Vaynerchuk, right? I know a lot of you guys probably listen to him out there. If you don't listen to Gary V, man, go get his stuff. The dude cusses a hell of a lot more than I do, so it's the reason I can get away with it somewhat. He was sitting, in his car, and this gal runs up to him and says, give me a 3-word phrase. A 3-word phrase that will just motivate me and inspire me and get me right now. He looked right at her without skipping a beat and said, you're going to die. And dude, when he said that, I got goosebumps. And the reason I got goosebumps is because if that's not the most motivational phrase in a flipping world, I don't know what is. Because that's the flipping truth. You're going to die. You better start playing flipping offense. Because, dude, you got one shot on this flipping rock. You got one shot with this life of yours. I don't care what your beliefs are or anything else. You got one damn shot. You're going to die. So freaking play offense. Go badass and just get after it like you've never got after it before. And anytime you find yourself falling back to that defensive mindset, ask yourself one question. How can I take this moment and turn it into offense? Anytime somebody says, hey, I got this thing I want to do, and when you look at it and the price tag is more than you can afford, instead of saying, no, I can't afford it, start saying, how can I come up with the money? Change that conversation you have with yourself so you force yourself into an offensive mindset. And here's a fun thing. Every time that defensive mindset goes off, break out your damn journal and write that down. Why the hell did defense pop up in my life at that point? What happened to me internally that forced defense to happen? And I promise you, the more you look at that, the more you can control those times when the defensive moments do pop up. And that's why I'm telling you, journaling is a game changer. You gotta start doing it. Keep playing offense, keep pushing forward, keep going big and loud, right? And keep exploding. Keep throwing logs on that damn internal bonfire so it starts not only lighting up your fire, but everybody else's fire around you. So to play offense, what I want you to do is start thinking about, instead of how do I pay my bills, how do I produce more cash? What can I sell? What can I make to create that revenue stream to get more funds coming in? I want you to start playing offense like it's the final game of your career. Because guess what? It is. We are all playing the only game we get. And if you go on offense, then you've got a real shot at winning this thing. So to kind of really summarize up today, and I hope you're as charged up as I am, because, dude, this has been charging for me. And I love talking about this stuff. It just gets me amped up, and I hope you're feeling a little bit of that as well. But there's 3 things that we covered on that really will help you just play the ultimate game of offense. And the first one is to get that damn routine down. And I'm talking about from sun up to sundown. What are those things you absolutely have to accomplish? Napoleon Hill talked about the story in Think and Grow Rich, where he got the index card where you listed out 6 things every day that you had to accomplish for that day to be done. Right? Do that if that's your thing. Right? Go get that routine. Right? You see me every morning doing all this posts and everything on social media. You see me writing articles. You see me doing the podcast stuff. Everything, you see me getting after it on a regular basis. That is my routine, right? That is the discipline that I have to have on a regular basis to make this whole thing work. The second thing was to change your circles. Change the people you're hanging out with. Change your influence, man. With your circles, don't just think about the people you're hanging out with. Think about the things you're listening to, the things you're reading, all that stuff you're putting in your head on a regular basis. Because all of that is shaping you from where you're going, and it is affecting your offensive strategy. And when we talk about going big and loud in the next episode, I'll talk about some of the cool things you got to do with that offensive strategy so you can go really big and loud, right? And then the third one, man, you're going to hear me harp on this probably every episode, is to get flipping journaling. Is whether you do the process I teach in my book, when you do a process you like, you've got to get those thoughts out of your head. You've got to start proactively going on an offensive strategy and say, I'm going to do this journaling thing. And here's one trick. It's a snippet out of the book that I'll give you. One of the reasons I struggled with journaling so bad is because I didn't know what to write, and because I didn't think it would work. And so I kept looking at journaling from the perspective of, it's not going to work anyway, so why do it? What I found is I was playing defense in journaling. So I changed my own mindset to, instead of, why do it because it won't work, I've changed my mindset of, I'm going to do it until it does work. And that was a game-changing moment for me, because now I have to do it because that's the only shot I got. It's going to work. I'm going to prove it's going to work. And that way I know how to make it work for the rest of my life. And that was that offensive change for me. Guys, remember the Gary Vaynerchuk line. You're going to die. And if you don't get that plastered on the inside of your eyelids, that this is your one shot, your one opportunity, this is your one chance to give it your all, your one chance to leave your damn legacy on this damn rock of ours, then you're looking at life wrong. Look, I know not everybody wants to go big and crazy as loud as I do, but there's some of you that really want to. There's some of you that just are tired of being okay with being okay. And I'm telling you, if that's you, start playing offense. Start getting after it. Start being that badass you've always thought you were. Look inside of you, grab your inner badass, hold on tight, and just watch what flipping happens. I promise you, if you'll just start running, the universe will step in and it will take care of the damn rest. I've got too many stories of people that I coach and work with to prove that's the absolute truth, right? Just start going, start moving, start getting that forward momentum going, and watch what happens. Hey guys, what a fun episode, man. Whew. Glad we got through that one, man. I'll tell you, that was fun to do. So do me a favor, guys. I really appreciate it if you would go to iTunes or go to whatever platform you're listening to this on and leave me an honest review of what you thought of this show and how it works. Then, if you'll go to DonnieBovine.com and downloads, you can find a ton of free content on my site that will help you with journaling, that will help you with playing defense, that will help you find your strengths, all free. Just at DonnieBovine.com, go to the drop-down link that says downloads, and you can have all that stuff, guys. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Keep being badasses, keep chasing your dreams, and unleash that inner badass.